take July and August. My name is Ashley Brain, and I'm the Public Information Officer here at the City of Beaufort. And today we have Claude and Jennifer from the Beaufort Jasper Housing Trust. They're going to be discussing the housing program that they are that we are partnering with them on, and definitely affects all of the neighborhoods. So I wanted you all to see their presentation about what this program looks like. So I'm going to turn it over to Claude and Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Thank all of you for the opportunity to be here. This is a long time coming, so we're happy to present what we have and talk about how we're going to get started. This is a partnership between the City of Beaufort and the Beaufort Jasper Housing Trust. This came about when the city in a work session asked if we would not only put up some money, but partner with them in putting together a program that went citywide. We agreed to do that. We put in $100,000. The city put in $150,000. We divided the city into 5 zones based on neighborhoods so that we could equally distribute money, $50,000 to each of those zones. In the case where a zone does not utilize their money, does not have any applications or as many applications as we need to expend the whole $50,000, we will take that and apply it evenly across the other zones. What are the zones? You can see them up here on the screen. Maybe you can't see them very well. Zone 1, Pigeon Point, Higginsville, Dixon Village, Northwest Quadrant, Old Commons, Boundary Street. Zone 2 is 100 Pines, West End, The Glebe. Is that, I'm not pronouncing that right. The Bluff, The Point. Zone 3, Mossy Oaks, Royal Oaks, Spanish Point, Jericho Woods, Cottage Farm, Broad Street. Zone 4, Live Oaks, Battery Point, Battery Shores, Overlook of Battery Creek, and Islands of Beaufort. And Zone 5 is Ladies Island. So who qualifies? Your legal address must be located within the City of Beaufort. The applicant must prove owner occupancy. We do not plan to expend any funds on rental property. It's got to be owner occupied. It must be able to prove that property taxes are current and the household income may not exceed 80% AMI for Beaufort County. If you look below the top boxes, this is the current 2025 median income limits for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 persons in a household. What type of repairs are going to be considered? Roofs, windows, doors, plumbing and electrical, HVAC, floor, subfloor, foundation, deck and ramp repair, replacement, attic insulation, and demolition only in the case of safety. Not acceptable repairs are anything that's cosmetic or anything that exceeds the $50,000 cap. How you will apply? Applications will be available beginning July 7th, pending legal review. We expect to hit that target or shortly thereafter. We'll have hard copies of the application available here at City Hall. They will be also available online at our website. There will be application workshops held to help homeowners fill out applications, answer their questions, see if they qualify. Completed applications will be accepted beginning on Monday, August 18th, and you can submit them in person at City Hall. You can email them. Only completed applications will be accepted, and we'll timestamp them in the order in which we receive them. These are some of the required documents that we need to meet all of the qualifications to make sure that someone is qualified. We certainly don't want to give money to someone that doesn't need it. This is intended for those people who cannot make these repairs because they don't have the income, they don't have the availability of resources to pay. 3 consecutive pay stubs from all income sources and for each member of the household. Most recent bank statement showing income deposits above. A Social Security annual statement, most recent income tax returns, certification of 0 income. We will provide the documents that will allow families to certify for that. Zero income is usually someone who's living on Social Security by themselves or some kind of fixed government subsidy income. Other documents that we'll take a look at are photos of needed repairs, neighborhood covenants if available. It's very important to make sure that we're not doing something that violates a neighborhood covenant. Any quotes received for repairs and any additional information that the homeowner can give us about what it is they're applying for, the circumstances around it, and exactly what is it that they are applying for. We're going to do application workshops. You see the dates and times. We'll do the workshops both at our offices and at City Hall. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give enough information out during these workshops that will allow someone to be able to fill the application out easily. If we find that we have an overwhelming response and we need to add application workshops, we certainly will. Any questions about the program, its intent, or how we're going to do it? We expect we're going to get a lot of people who say, hey, can I get my kitchen cabinets redone? The answer is no. Can I get my house painted? The answer is no. However, City Council did ask us to the extent that we find something, for example, a house that needs a bathroom repair because it's failing, but also needs the house painted, that we may look at some volunteer organizations within the city that may be willing to come in and do the painting, do the cosmetic work that we don't do. This really is intended for us to prove that we can address the needs of citizens of the city. And our hope is that this becomes a program that is renewed on an annual basis. There will never be every home in the city that is in great condition and everything's been repaired. There will always be things that need to be done. Our goals here are to repair those things that are, but also to allow the homeowner to live in that house longer, to be able to enjoy that house longer. One of the things that we're going to do after the repair is done is provide some education. There are a lot of people, myself included, that don't do thermostats very well. So we want to do some training about what the thermostat is, what happens when you open the windows in a very humid day and the air conditioner is running. What are some of the signs that you need to take a look at with respect to leaking, things not working properly? What do you do when you see those? Perhaps some tutorial on how to fix something, which a lot of people just don't have. You sit in your house and you have 5,000 things that you want to do. You neglect things that need to be fixed until they're so big sometimes that you need to call somebody to come fix them for you. So we want to look at this kind of as a preventive issue as well. You know, hey, we can repair these things, but if you take a look at this, it looks like you have a problem here. You know, get somebody out to take a look at it now. We know that primary criticism will be, why didn't we get selected? And how did you run out of money so fast? We expect that we're going to run out of money probably in less than 30 days. Once we start looking at applications, it costs a lot to repair things. We have hired a chief inspector who will be the initial person taking a look at what it is you're proposing, and he will price it out to see if we're within the guidelines. We expect also that there'll be a demand for more money once the wait list begins to accumulate. If you are not selected, but you qualify, you'll go on a wait list. You'll maintain that wait list ranking until the next funding comes in. So people may have to wait a little while, but I think there will be a lot of people who show up that say, why can't we put more money into this? Why can't I be helped? We also, Beaufort Jasper Housing Trust is the only entity in Beaufort and Jasper County that's qualified to participate in the state home repair program. So if we walk into something that's above $50,000, that we think might qualify for that program, we will talk to the homeowner about how they would apply for that program, how we might be able to help them. So there's two avenues here that people could get help for. We hope that neighborhoods look at this as 3 wins. 1, their neighbor gets the help that they need. 2, it enhances the neighborhood itself. And 3, it enhances the value of the neighborhood by allowing people to stay in their homes longer, accumulate perhaps a little more equity in their home, and have some options in the future that they may not have if their house is falling down. We also know there are a number of houses in the city that are teetering on falling over. This is not to address those houses. We could spend the entire $250,000 allocation on one house. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to help families stay in their home, address these issues, lead a more comfortable life within their home. I suspect that based on the phone calls that we have gotten already, and from the minute that we said we were going to do this, Jennifer started answering the phone calls. They are primarily senior women living by themselves who have no clue how to fix what's gone wrong and really don't know how to get somebody in to help them. So we just looked at a house for another program over in Jasper County. And the lady she lives by herself. She hired a company to come in and redo her bathroom. They pulled everything out and then left after she paid it and never came back. Well, you can probably really think about what happened when you tear everything out. It just gets worse. So now, instead of maybe a $10,000 fix, it's a $20,000 to $25,000 fix. So what we want to do is we want to try and preempt those issues. We want to try and help as much as we can. We also know this is a very delicate situation when you come into someone's home to try and figure out what is wrong versus all the other things that might be done to make the house a little bit nicer. That's not our job. Our job is to address the critical repair that needs to be done. So it has taken us a while to get the application, which the state application is about 15 pages long. Our application is 3 pages long. So we wanted to work with city, wanted to work with legal counsel, we wanted to work with software designers to make sure that it was having something that was easy, that was understandable, and that people weren't totally frustrated over. But if they are frustrated, they can come to one of these workshops and sit down and say, I don't know how to do this. My 93-year-old mother would be the first one standing in line to say, you do this for me, tell me where to sign. So we recognize that we are likely to see a number of those issues. We're likely to see a number of neighbors who call and say, Mrs. Jones lives next door to me. She doesn't have a computer. She doesn't understand. So if I bring her to the workshop, can she see if she is qualified? Absolutely.
Well,
We would encourage that.
and I would add, if you're gonna bring people to the workshops, if they can have some of the documents, we're gonna be here and we're also gonna be in our office so that we have copiers available and things like that. I think that's sometimes the struggle is they have the documents, but then they're like, well, I have to go to Staples to get it copied or whatever. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to get the copies of those documents together. As much as of the information they can have when they come, then that will be helpful to put the application together. You know, and if you have, we're a very limited staff of 2. So if we can answer questions at the workshops, we would gladly do that as opposed to, everybody calling every other day. I mean, we'll do what we can to answer calls and try to be as communicative as possible. But the workshops are really designated to answer those questions and help people just put the information together. The hardest part is gonna be getting all of the information together. It's getting the, those pieces of the puzzle together. So, I think that's why we're giving a large window for the application period to be open. And again, if we need to open more application workshop times, we will. So, all of the application workshop times are also on our website right now. So you can go to bjht.org. And under what we do, the first tab is City of Beaufort over here. So you can drop down on that menu and it's right there. So all the workshop days and times are there right now.
How are you publicizing this? Because I mean, you're saying it's on a website, but the folks that we're talking about here, as your example, it's used as an example, can't use a computer, maybe not even have one. So that's not good for them. How does the word get out other than on your website? Are you dealing with the newspapers, the churches?
Oh, yeah, we will be. We've got a whole communications plan that'll be ready to advertise the program to different types of media. That's also why you're here. You're representatives of your neighborhoods to take it back to tell other people about it.
We don't want to publish anything yet until the lawyers say it's okay. You all know the rule nowadays, where two people meet, a lawyer must be present. And I also want to say, Beaufort Jasper Housing Trust has a number of partners who do a number of things. So as we go through this process, to the extent that we see a family or a resident who needs something other than what we provide, we would certainly give them the information to call our partners and see if they can help. We also know that we're going to get probably people who say, for one reason or another, this wasn't a fair process. We expect that, we know that. But really, we're doing it the best way that we can. And we think the most judicious way that we can in cooperation with the city. So will we have our bumps and bruises? Absolutely. Will we learn things as we go along? Absolutely. But we think what we hope is that this is so successful that other municipalities look at it and say, this is something that we should be doing. And I think Hilton Head and Bluffton are already doing it in a different way. They both ran out of money really fast. We actually gave Bluffton some money and they could continue their program. Morning. So what questions do you all have that we could answer? No, Dan, we're not taking heirs issues.
I was kind of this is a situation I've seen a lot and a lot of that all throughout the city. And you kind of allude to it. And that is, what if a house needs several things that are on your list? For instance, what if it needs the air conditioning system fixed? And that's $6,000. And the roof, and that's $15,000. And the plumbing, and that's $20,000 to $5,000. Now that project, let's call it that house project, alone would eat up $50,000. Laying aside the fact that you could go find other partners for some parts of it, I know that could be. When they submit their application, should they submit 4 applications or one?
Just one.
One application? Should they make an attempt to divide it up?
No. What we'll do is we'll take a look at what is the most critical. What we want to try and do is spread this money as far as we can.
Right.
With the understanding that
That it's not enough.
it's not enough, and you may have a house that has all of those issues.
Right.
What we would want to do is say, okay, which is the one that is most critical and even the most critical.
How do you decide which house gets the plumbing and which one gets the air conditioning?
Based on which is yours.
What?
based on which is worse.
Well, and it depends on how many applications we get in each zone and when they come in. I mean, they will be, I mean, whatever comes in first gets looked at first in each zone. And that's the only fair way we can do it.
Yeah,
So, and I think that at that point, we evaluate each one. We will be talking with the city as these come in and talking with them about how we look at them. We don't know what we're gonna get just yet. This is brand new, so we're gonna have to see what comes in. And I think as we see the need, then we talk with the city about how we move forward.
If we look at what has happened at Bluffton and Hilton Head, they were able to spread their funds out to a number of homes by just concentrating on what was the worst thing happening. We also have to understand, if we go in and we repair the air conditioning system and there's a hole in the roof,
Yeah.
we're doing nothing. But you can also get on that wheel and keep going around and around and around. So we'll need to make some decisions with the city as we move forward about what's fair. Our hope would be that we're going to get roof repairs, which, it's a big number, but we could do a number of them in a zone. Window repairs. We know we're gonna get some bathroom repairs, and most of those are gonna be where flooring has failed to hold the bathroom up. We know that we're going to probably get some issues where there's an electrical issue and it leads to a bigger issue, so we're gonna have to talk about that as well. So as Jennifer said, it's really gonna be taking a look at things as they come in. What we hope is that people look at what's the worst thing that's happening right now. If water's coming in every time it rains, then the roof becomes a critical issue. And maybe the air conditioning gets a tune-up as opposed to a replacement. Maybe we don't do something that we get somebody else to come in. So it's gonna be a work in process. It's gonna be a fluid thing. There's no hard and fast, well, we won't do this. We just need to see what it is we get asked. We also know in some of the more affluent neighborhoods, we're not gonna get very many applications. Because people are gonna make too much money. But within that neighborhood, there was likely to be a resident who's lived there for 50 years and has never done anything to his or her house. And we can make a difference. We're not gonna make social determinations. So we're not gonna say to somebody, you really can't keep up with this house, you really should look at something else, that's not our job. We also want to be cautious about things like hoarders. That is an issue, it's a protected issue, it's called a protected class under HUD. So we want to make everybody understand that if that's what we see, and it would prevent us from doing something, there are other agencies within the city that can come in and address that issue before we ever come in and make it fair.
I'll also add quickly that, and that we didn't talk about in this presentation, all of the income qualifications will be third-party verified. So we will send that out to a different agency to verify that once we get it, so. So we just make sure we're doing it.
We want to be as transparent as we can. We know Mrs. Jones is going to come in and say, my neighbor got money, how come I do? So we know those questions are coming. I've been doing this a long time. And I won't say that I've heard all the questions, but I've heard 99% of them. And there's always an answer. It may not be as fast as you want, or as comprehensive as you want it to be. There's usually an avenue that you can go down to get some help. Most people just don't know what that avenue is. They just don't know who to call or how to ask for it. And there are some people that are just reluctant to ask. But we're gonna try and make this $250,000 as impactful as we can. purpose of making the repairs, but also the purpose of allowing that resident to reside in a safer house than they had yesterday.
Lolita, do you have a question?
I almost forgot it.
I'm sorry.
Good luck, you guys. I was,
Thanks.
I deal with the zones with the 250,000 you have for the city, you're gonna have to say, put this much money in this zone, this much money in that
Yeah,
zone.
$50,000 a zone.
Zone.
Yeah, just, we spread it out evenly, kind of according to the map. We just sat down with the city and kind of just spread them out and, you know, just what made sense. But I think some of the zones by their nature will probably need a whole lot less of the funding. So again, I think that that will probably get moved around. I can't say for sure because you just don't know what you're gonna get. So
And the city is giving, this money, and are they gonna stay out of the judging decision process, or it'll just be you two?
No, we will take after we do the inspections and we get the applications done and we get all the backup documentation and the third party verification says, yes, that is their income. Then we'll come to the city and sit down and say, okay, here's what we have. And here's how it's spread out. And we're always gonna have a questionable house. And Dan is not gonna wanna hear me say this. But it is likely to be a house that has foundation issues. Because once you get in there on a foundation issue, you can spend a fortune. Because you don't know, and every contractor will tell you this, you don't know what you have until you get under the house. When you start talking about jacking up houses and pouring piers and solidifying it, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be done, but that cost will probably far exceed $50,000. So then we have to look and say, okay, how could we address this through state funds? Is there another way to address this? Foundations are going to be probably the toughest thing that we have to look at with respect to what's wrong and how much would it take to fix it, and will that fix be enough? But we're prepared for those. We have a very experienced inspector who is also a general contractor. So, and he has no skin in the game. So he's going to come back and say, here's the accurate story. Here's the issue.
Is the applicant supposed to provide what they think is wrong with the house?
yeah, just
Describe
some
it,
detail. Yeah,
give some
And a
detail.
lot of it would be unlike what you're saying, foundation,
They would,
because they don't know.
they don't know.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Question
they would,
Oh, okay.
If a home is seen as condemnable when seen by officials, does this put the inhabitants in danger of being evicted? And that is from Sue S.
That is a call for the city. That's not something that we would get involved with at all.
That's all we got.
We know there are a number of homes that there's a lot of discussion about. What do you do? Do you pour money into it, or do you tear it down and put something else? And we are not a part of those discussions. We don't ever want to be a part of those discussions, because it is an issue that is very delicate and very hard to make a decision on. And that's why you elect politicians to make those decisions. But we want to stay away from that. It's not our job to determine whether something should or should not be condemned or should or should not be cited. That's not our job.
There's no question online.
Yes, also from Sue, do you forward the information to the city?
Yes.
So specific to homes in the historic district, we are working with the Historic Beaufort Foundation, as well as our planning commission and our historic district review board, to look at options for a separate program along these same lines, but that is specific to the historic district, because we know those costs are going to be significantly higher than they would be for homes outside of the historic district. That program is kind of in its early stages. The first part was last year doing an above ground survey in partnership with HBF and some of the other neighborhood associations. And I don't know what that will ultimately look like, but that is being addressed, and that will address a lot of those concerns, the homes that we're looking at. Are they supposed to be condemned? Can we rehab them? What are those options? That's gonna take a pretty significant partnership with other nonprofit organizations like HBF, and I met with former Mayor Kaiserling and Stacy Applegate the other day about some ideas they had, and it's just gonna be bringing those people to the table and figuring out how to best address the historic district as a whole. With this program, we wanted to focus on the city as a whole, get as much assistance to as many people as possible with this first round, and see what type of responses we're getting. And then from there, we'll adjust our program as needed.
And we're happy to come back. If you have your quarterly meetings and tell you, here's the progress and here's what we're seeing and here's some of the problems that we ran into.
I don't have a question.
Okay.
Not to interrupt.
What's that?
Another question.
Oh,
When pulling permits for said improvements, are people informed that with these improvements, it may affect their taxes as improvements? That property value going up?
I think we will probably say, if we're enhancing the value of your real estate, if there's an assessment done and that value is higher, then yes, your taxes are gonna be impacted. I mean, I don't know how we could get around that.
And there's gonna be a training program, yes, that comes along with the awards for recipients about how to best maintain the property and financial responsibility that you guys are administering.
Yes.
So, if your application is accepted, but you run out of money before you get to this individual, they do not have to apply again?
No, they would go on the waiting list, they would stay on the waiting list, whatever their position is. And the mayor, I think you guys are considering in next year's budget, some allocation of funding. And we have said, whatever that is, we would continue to match. For a period of 3 years. So our board understands this is critical. Our board understands a lot of them live here in the area, and they want to see this work. So they're willing to make a commitment on the trust behalf to continue to match funds as long as the city continues to participate. Maybe the big thing is, how long is this gonna take? You know, how long, our biggest challenge is not the applications or who's applying. Our biggest challenge is gonna be finding contractors that are willing to do the work. Because there are very expensive homes and very expensive commercial buildings that are being done where you can make a lot more money, and you can make a lot more money faster. So we're gonna have to find contractors who not only will do the work and will do it for a fair price, but who also have an understanding of why we're doing it. Will that be hard to find? Maybe, but I also know a lot of our nonprofit partners survive on volunteer labor, volunteer contractors, people who want to do something because they want to give something back. So we're hopeful that we're going to tap into that network. Any other questions we can answer for you? Chief, are you here to make sure that there's no disruption?
I want to thank you for the work that you've done. I know it's a first year, first try, so there's probably gonna be a lot of tweaks. And maybe some major tweaks, which I don't know what you call a major tweak, but whatever. So it looks like a good start. We were pleased that the city council appropriated the money last year. And looks like they're gonna do it next year and probably for 10 years. To get this project could take a lot of time.
Well, we know that this is the 3 platforms that we have at the trust. This is the one that is most asked about. and where we have the most requests. Which is why we are working with the state to say, can we use your funds some way and marry them together with local funds to address bigger issues? That is a long and painful conversation. Any conversation with the state is, but what we are saying is, why don't you bring some of the money closer to the people who need it, as opposed to us having to go through Columbia for everything. We are getting ready to submit our first 2 submissions under the South Carolina Home Repair Program. One in Beaufort County, one in Jasper County. They only allow us to do 2 upfront, but after we do those and after we complete them, then we're hopeful that we can gain access to more funding and help more people. The 2 prospects that we have now, both single women, both have been kind of left in dire circumstances. And we think we can help, but very different circumstances. One has a home that has a leak and has some minor repairs, one major repair. The other one, her floor is caving in. She's literally putting little boxes around her floor to remind her not to step there. So it's those kinds of things that we want to address and we want to help. It just takes time to get everybody to say yes. Anything else we can answer for you? Please don't hesitate to email us, drop by if you've got a question. We're right across the street, right
the
down the street,
workshops.
right behind Talbot's. So yeah, we're happy to answer any question and give you any update that you need. Look at the website because we'll be updating that as well. Look at the website to see all the things that we've done in the last 12 to 14 months. It's been, the city has partnered with us. Other municipalities have partnered with us in a great way. I tell people all the time, getting any public entity to cooperate with you is a major deal. Getting 8 of them to do it is almost impossible, but it's been terrific and we've been. Anything else? Thank you all very much for the opportunity. We appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much. And the city will, of course, be putting out the application once it's available and all of the workshop dates as well. So we will definitely be communicating those as well. So first, next we want to go to our department heads. I know Nate's got, graduating from one of our cool camps our fire department's doing. So he needs to go first, so.
Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's staying cool.
See, look,
See click fix, right? You wanna start out with that? Alright, so as always, Public Works does have an application out there that we love using. It's called C-Click Fix. You can find it online or the app store. So you can go to the city website and you can go to C-Click Fix. And then whenever you put that in, it automatically sends an email to myself, my operations manager, and the supervisor in charge of whatever that issue is. We kind of keep track of it and it just helps us get out in the public a little bit quicker. So I implore everyone to look for that app and check it out and play around with it. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to call Public Works or one day, maybe at one of the neighborhood meetings, we can come up here and we can just do a quick walkthrough and show everybody how to operate the C-Click Fix app. I am proud to say that I think it was 13 months or 14 months, we successfully completed over 1,000 C-Click Fix. So it was quite a few, which tells you how many come in and how many get signed off each day. So it does help. It's from the smallest things to a broken slat on a bench to major things like potholes in roads, leaking water lines, other stuff. We also assist if you see an issue that's at CDOT, Beaufort Jasper, Dominion, Sometimes as a resident, we know that it can be hard to get a hold of those companies. And if you see it and put it in multiple ways, we also assist with helping put in that SCDOT ticket or putting the Dominion ticket in. And then we'll continue to try to follow up and make sure that those issues are being taken care of by any of the other entities out there. So it's a way that we can also help you deal with other municipalities or other government entities or utility companies that are out there. So that's C-Click Fix. We good?
I got a question.
Yes.
When something's fixed, does the person that put in the request get a reply?
So if you can go in the app and just put a ticket in as anonymous. So if you put it in as anonymous, no, you will not get notified that it was signed off.
Right.
If you create a profile or you enter an email address, you are attached to that ticket from start to finish. And you will be notified that the ticket was successfully inputted. You'll be notified that we acknowledged we received the ticket. And then you'll get another notification that says, we have completed this and we appreciate what you've done and put it in for us. So you will be notified if you do create a profile or add an email address. Any other questions? C-Click Fix? All right. So I am very proud to say that we had a very successful Touch a Truck, that event that went out Southside Park. I think it was 2 weekends ago, Father's Day weekend. We had tons of equipment out there. The fire department, police department came out and supported us out there with some equipment. We were glad to have them out there as well. The planning department and so many volunteers from the city and all different departments that came out to help. And I just want to say a big thank you to all the public works guys, because I believe every single public works employee volunteered to be out there that day. So it was hot. It was at least it was a little bit windy, so it kept the bugs down. But it was a great time. We had a lot of fun. Some food trucks came out, Kona Ice, and we look forward to doing it again in Pigeon Point next year. We'll go back to Pigeon Point and get to enjoy the shade a little more. So, but it was a great time out at Southside. And let's see, from there on Monday, Public Works will be hanging the American flag on the Woods Memorial Bridge. So if you guys get a chance, you can come out and go stand on the promenade and look out there and watch us hang I believe it is a 20x30 flag that hangs from the Woods Memorial Bridge. We went out there and we put all the brackets and all that in this week, and it's a fun time. It's very stressful, but it is a fun time, and we enjoy being patriotic with the city of Beaufort. Pigeon Point Playground, if you've been out there or you've been around there, it's slowly starting to come. We dealt with some family issues, some weather issues, but it is starting to look like a playground, and I can't wait to get out there and do the grand opening for that and get to see all the kids get to enjoy that new playground out there in the Pigeon Point Playground area. With the weather, I'm trying to remember all this off the top of my head, so I'm sorry, guys. But with the weather coming, we've had a lot of rain. There's more rain in the forecast. Public Works is asking that if you're out and about and you see debris piles or you see landscaping companies or anyone blowing any leaves, debris, or stacking or piling anything in the roadway, we please ask that you contact Public Works or code enforcement to go out there, because whenever that stuff's out there and it's stacked or it's done, when the rain comes, the first thing it does is it goes down and it clogs the drain, and then we have to go out and we just appreciate, we'd rather catch it before the rain comes than wait until we start having flooding issues. Let's see, there was one more thing. Yes.
What's going on with Washington Park?
I will wait and let Linda go and speak on that a little bit. it falls under the downtown operations,
Well,
so.
what do we need to do to get the street sweepers out to clean the gutters?
So we are in the final process. We are hoping that in the July 8th council meeting, that they will approve the new sweeping company. And once that is approved, then we hope to be able to push that out as soon as possible. But right now, we're in a changeover from the old sweeping company. We went out for bids, and now we're waiting for the new one, and we're hoping here within the next couple of weeks, we'll have a decision, and it'll go before council on July 8th. If you're having issues somewhere, you can always put it at C-Click Fix. Public Works does have a sweeper truck. We do try to kind of intermittently hit areas that need it. But you know, we can't go out and just sweep the whole town. I don't have the personnel to do that, but we can hit areas that are starting to get pretty bad if need be. And then lastly, hurricane season's coming up. So just so you're aware, Public Works has ramped up, and we have fully prepared for hurricane season. All of our equipment has been inspected and went through the proper maintenance cycles. We have went through all of our equipment, all of our safety equipment, all of our personnel have went through the proper training. And we are ready for this next 6 months of hurricane season, and we're looking forward to nothing hitting Beaufort, and that we will we'll have a nice easy year this year. So I guess if there's any questions for me, Public Works in general? No? Well, I want to thank you all, and I do mean it. I appreciate everything that the residents do throughout the city, because they truly help us, because we are a small division of 23 staff members, so we need the help whenever we're out and about, and you guys always help us and let us know of issues, and we'll try to get on as quick as we can, so thank you guys.
Thank you, Public Works. They do an amazing job, and right now they're doing it in this extreme heat, so we appreciate y'all so much. Also, remember, Public Works does not pick up debris unless it's from a named storm. We try to remind everybody, if it's not a named storm, it needs to be bagged or bundled with your trash. It has to be put out that way, so just always try to put that out as much as possible, so thank you.
Thank you all.
Linda, do you want to go next since we have a question about one? Sure. This is Linda Roper, Downtown Operations.
Good morning, how are you? So downtown, Beaufort is, has been a buzz for a while, with a lot of tourism. We've had, it's been steady since April, since really late March. So there's been a lot of things going on. There's a lot of events. I'm gonna let my team kind of give you a rundown on the events and things that are happening. But as far as Washington Street Park, we are in the construction phase of phase one. That phase one is the pavilion, moving the basketball court and building a basketball court and a multi-purpose court on the east side of the park. That is moving along fairly nicely. There is a second phase. The second phase kind of finishes up the park. And that is some internal sidewalks, some benches, some murals, and things of the like. Washington Street Park probably will not be completed until the end of the year. We are going out for bid on the second phase here shortly. And we're hoping that once the construction wraps up for the first phase, that we'll just move right on into the second phase. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Also in our under our purview is the capital waste, and I was also gonna give you a little bit of a reminder that, yard debris should be bagged and bundled. It is put out on the same day as your service. If you have bulk pickup, if there is a couch, appliance, or anything that cannot fit into the toter, which is your garbage toters, you can request for bulk pickup. You just call or put in a ticket with, Capital Waste. The ticket can be put in, you can go to the city website under our services for garbage and put in that ticket. It is picked up on your same day as your service. So please don't, understand you have to call and say, hey, I have this couch, I have this that I'm putting out there. They are not gonna pick it up just because they drive by and see it. They want to hear from the property owner that, hey, I put this out there and I want you to take it away because it is garbage. So if you have neighbors that have put things out there and it's sitting there, please remind them or help or call us and we will definitely check into it, get permission and get that particular bulk picked up. Good news is the budget has been passed and I've got two major renovations that are going on our historic buildings. That is the Arsenal, well, actually, it's just the Arsenal. The Arsenal walls project, we are looking into starting the going out for bids and actually repairing those walls that have deteriorated and had taken on water. We originally started this project back in 2018, 2019, and found out that, hey, it's really not just the walls that are taking on water. We have roof repairs. So we kind of switched from repairing the walls to making sure that from the top down, we're doing it right. So we're really kind of in the final phases. We're also going to be doing some additional renovations to our restorations to the windows at the Arsenal. There's some paint peeling and chipping it off that needs to be fixed. So with all that being said, those are two exciting things that I feel like when these are done, we've probably done all that we can do with our historic buildings. We are also getting ready to, the Carnegie building is having a roof repair. And we are waiting for the tiles to be manufactured. And we hope before the end of the year that will be repaired and done. And we're being good stewards to our historic buildings. So with all that, Main Street Beaufort is also part of downtown, and I've got the Main Street Director, Sarah Sutton, that can kind of give you a rundown and tell you about all of our wonderful shops and activities that are going on in the next couple of months.
We are busy working on our First Fridays. July 4th is going to be a fun one. We are doing red, white, and blues. So we'll have a band down at the clock playing. Some of the shops will be open and we'll be partying before the fireworks go off over in Port Royal. August, we are having the Dog Days of Summer. And First Friday runs 5 to 8 every first Friday of the month. September is going to be a street closure. It's going to be tailgate football themed, which will be fun. We're always big sports fans down here in the South. We're also working on putting out stories of the faces of downtown, whether that's business owners, service workers, or just people that you see downtown all the time that kind of make up our community and that shares what downtown is to our visitors, residents, and anyone else that comes across our page. If you want to stay up to date on the events that are happening downtown, you can look us up on Facebook or you can go to our website, mainstreetbeaufort.org. You guys have any questions about any of that fun stuff that we're working on?
I don't know if this is in your purview, but the the new mural at the waterfront park looks
Yes.
fantastic.
Awesome, thank you. That was a team effort between a couple people and a couple organizations, and the Cultural District Advisory Board was a really big push and really involved in that. So we hope to bring more public art downtown, whether that's crafts or more murals. We're excited to keep that momentum rolling.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Morning, someone. I'm Jennifer Pointer. I'm the one that does events and tours. So when it comes to the waterfront park or any other parks in town, those are all through Linda's department, so they get rented out. Rentals for July and August for regular parks are a little slow. It's a lot of heat, so a lot of those tend to be morning ones. But we do have events coming up. We know that Dragon Boat is this weekend, so come out and see them. They're gonna be out early. They've been practicing, so that should be a lot of fun. So that's this Saturday. And then in July, as we all know, Waterfest is coming up. So that is the 11th through the 20th. So working on that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So go to the Waterfest website. They have all their events listed. I know I want to go to the Little Country Dinner. That sounds like fun. So with that, on the 4th is the Firecracker Run. So that does the street closures in the morning. So that will be affecting from about 6 a.m. to about 9 a.m. Just a regular 5K route that goes across the bridge and turns around Meridian and comes back. So that will affect some of the drive in the morning. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that. Unless you're up that early on 4th of July. So, and yeah, and we do a lot of stuff with the partnership with Main Street Beaufort to make sure that anything goes on in the park, we try to get it back onto Bay and the surrounding streets to make sure that our they just don't spend time in the park. Other than that, we are starting to work on Trip Festival, so which is the 3rd and 4th of October. I know that's coming up in the next quarter, but that should be a lot of fun. We're working on that right now, so. Anything else? Any questions about Waterfront? Yes.
The bus, the tour buses that are
Yes.
coming in town, they're kind of slacking off right now. Like,
Well, yeah, they come and go, so right now I noticed that coming from visit, that the bus schedule is kind of reduced. Tours are still going on, that the horse carriages will not be running July and August due to heat. But you will still see the golf carts and the Kelly tour buses that are on the regular schedule. Those will be coming in, so that we do have, all our tour groups are full, so I know people still call us and say, we wanna do a tour, like, we wanna do a tour here, but we're full. So we have plenty of tour guides, yes.
There's a sign on North Street that says, keep the tour buses off North Street. Are you familiar with that?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
and so they're not being routed on North Street, they're going down.
That's
Main.
just a resident.
Yeah, it's a resident,
It's Resident Street, narrow.
yeah,
Yeah, it's narrow, that's why.
okay, good.
are they restricted on what, because I guess they're coming into town on free boat and down north.
They are not restricted from that at this time.
Is the city thinking about doing that?
We've talked about it.
Yeah, it's dispatched.
It is being discussed.
Yeah, I love that.
So you can't direct them to go to Bay Street, stay on Bay Street?
Depends on the route and what they're doing, so they have a set route and we are discussing the North Street.
So it's our I think.
You can answer a little bit better than that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's our understanding that the motor coaches use a route that's actually suggested by GPS or however they're, and currently, if they come down Reebok Road and it is very difficult for a bus to turn onto Bay Street if you're coming from Boundary Street and down. So, it is being routed through this GPS system down North Street. And as we know, there are beautiful oaks on North Street, and that is the emphasis of why we want to try to for them not to come down, because they really do have to navigate the road system. We have been providing communication to the motor coach companies that we know are coming in to go actually come down Boundary Street and turn onto Charles to get to downtown. We really are trying to make that be their route, and then come into the Marina parking lot. If they wanna leave Bay and go down Bay Street, we've told them, you know, hey, if you wanna see the beautiful drive. And, you know, as you go out, you could do that instead of the hard turns that there are. So we are working on it with just different communications. And, so at this time, it's not regulated, so.
Thank you. I think Alan, you were here next, so we'll go in order of.
Good morning, I'm Alan Osborne, the finance director. The city's fiscal year end is coming up on June 30th. We've got 4 more days in our fiscal year end. We'll get kind of closed out next a couple of months for kind of close our books, and we'll get audited in the month of September. They'll issue our financial report by December. Looking forward, our new fiscal year starts July 1st. As you know, the budget was passed on June 10th by council, so we'll move forward with those initiatives as well. One thing just to let everybody know is we're changing our credit card processor with the city is on July 1st. The credit card fees will now be 3.6%. And then the e-check fee is $1.95, kind of flat amounts. Do any transactions online, those are our new fees that unfortunately are passed on to our customers. Let me answer any questions you may have. Yes.
Thank you.
Chief Price?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, y'all. How you doing? Thanks for having me over. Okay, today on the police department, things that are going on around and about. We actually have our Future Guardians program going on, and it is where youth of our community come and they experience the police department. It's pretty exciting, actually. We have 22 participants this year. So it's Monday through Thursday, and then they're gonna be putting on the open house on Saturday, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the youth have experienced this. They actually worked a crime scene, they've got to know the police department, and they've really had some great interactions with the police officers. I know this because I hear them laughing upstairs. So they had a lot of fun over there.
Did they find out who stole Baby Yoda?
They did find out. It was our evidence technician. Yeah, he is being duly rewarded with pizza for participating anyway. So we had him there all week. We fed him during lunch and really had a great interaction between the SROs and really the entire staff and our 22 participants. So this is our second year for doing that. And we're so grateful for the support of council for, supporting our Explorers program. So it's nice to see. And we even had TCL come out and talk about continuing education with the criminal justice program that they have there. So had a lot of community partners help us out, and that was great. So this Saturday, we're doing an open house at the police department, and it is from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock. It's a great way to get a behind the scenes view of what goes on at the police department and really talk to SROs, investigators, command staff, and we'll have a lot of people there. We're also having cooking, so we're gonna be cooking hot dogs and drinks and things like that. Plus, we are doing raffles. So if you come, we have raffles. We have things like bikes and scooters, and we also have adult bikes, and we also have Ring cameras and just different things that we like to give away that have to do with the health and safety of our community. So any questions at all? We have a room full of community partners as well. So if you have questions from them, we're more than glad to have you. We tour you through the police department. It's an interactive experience. So it's our 3rd year of doing that. Really grateful to be able to do that, to get the behind the scenes.
What were the hours on Saturday?
10 to 1. 10 to 1 is what the hours are. We'll be glad to have and see everybody there. Couple of reminders, just as far as policing goes. Please, for the love of all that's holy, it is hotter than hot outside. So I'm sure you can mention this from the fire department, but stay hydrated, take plenty of rest breaks, and let's show some grace, Beaufort, and let your tempers not, cool down just a bit as the weather heats up. Just say that from the policing point of view. And as far as safety goes, one reminder too, unlock cars, please do not use them as a gun safe. And so take your weapons in and make sure that they're secured because people are checking those. As they always do, that's nothing unusual. We've had no spat of it, just like. Questions? Yes, sir.
You guys patrol the Spanish Moss Trail?
Yes, we do.
Because I've seen electric bikes,
Yes.
And there are some folks that have been kind of camped out in the depot building,
Yes,
family there.
we're checking on that.
Okay, so you're
Yes.
aware of that and the bikes, what can you do about
So
that?
some electric bikes are allowed.
Right, I think.
So
there's
it's
like
really
grade
hard
one.
to tell what bikes are what.
Right.
So that therein lies the problem, you know, do you stop somebody bike and be like, so can I check out your bike to see if it's the certain cylinder or whatever it is? And so we're actually in discussions with the board of Spanish Moss Trail about that. We met just last week with them.
Now, do you have occasionally I've seen, police in like golf cart
Yes.
up and down, but not on a routine basis, like once in a blue moon, if you will.
Mhm.
Is there a,
You're not on their schedule.
oh, okay, they're not on my
So
schedule.
we
They're not on my
recognize that,
schedule.
actually, I patrol. I actually patrol a lot, the Spanish Moss Trail. So we go on bikes and we go on the golf cart, which, by the way, it's okay for us to be on the golf cart on the Spanish Moss Trail because we're the police.
You're all right.
It's okay. Everybody else is a no, but sometimes we get looks and yeah, I'm like, okay, we're the police, and they're like, they still don't care. But the story is this, we do randomly do it, but our court security guys mainly come out and they go off the Spanish Moss Trail, but we will be going up and down with water, quite frankly, to be honest with you, because it is so hot. So we pack a cooler full of water in case folks are dehydrated on the trail. But yes, we actually regularly patrol that.
Okay.
I know, because I mean, you know, like it's a great way to get out of the office and it's a great way to talk to the people.
Talking about golf carts, didn't the General Assembly pass some new rules dealing with golf carts on the roads that are y'all seeing a lot of violations of them?
No, we're not seeing a lot of violations of it yet. We are actually in discussions for passing our own ordinance for this, you know, to strengthen and bolster that. So no, I have not seen a lot of violations of it, nor have we had a lot of calls on it yet.
Yes. You remember what, right? Aren't you required to have a seat belt?
Yes, if you are 12 and under, so 11 and under is required to have a seatbelt.
And there's an age limit on.
16 years old, you have to be 16 years old in public, yes. But those can all be found online, and it's, you know, headlines. Go ahead. Anything else from the police department? Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
Semis going over the Woods Bridge.
Yes, so those are, it is now, of course, as you know, we've passed the ordinance for that, and we do have regulations for that, and we do have patrol officers that are stopping them. And we actually went to all the businesses that get a lot of the deliveries and said, hey, just so you know, we're gonna be ticketing your drivers. Hey, just so you know, we're gonna be ticketing your drivers. We do monitor that, but we're also busy answering 911 calls and all the other calls that we get, so. Yes,
So it's not the kind of thing you could put up a camera and take driver's license and pictures of the.
so South Carolina law doesn't allow that, so we don't have driver's license cameras like that, so. You'd have to prove the driver, it's just very difficult, but yes, we don't do that. But they do pull over for, I hear them do it, I see them do it, so I know that they're doing it. Can they catch every single one? No, but we're hoping that spreads, right? Hey, we're gonna, you know, cite you for a violation or a warning, or pull you over and let you know what's going on. And most of them just say, oh, I didn't know, or my GPS took us this way. So if you do regular GPS as a truck driver, so apparently they have apps that are only for truck drivers that'll take you around the route you're supposed to go, but if you do regular GPS, it goes the quickest way and that's it. Any other questions? All right. Before I go, I would like to say one thing, and that is thank you so much for the support and the community support from Beaufort. The police department very much enjoys it, and they very much enjoy being your police officers. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thanks. There's some fire.
Last one in, last one is. Good morning, everybody. My name is Firefighter Hates, and actually to piggyback what Chief Price says, for the last 2 years, I actually got the pleasure of teaching their CPR class and the first aid class. So it is a really good program. I really like it. If I was younger and changed my mind, I would have been a police officer. But, you know, I became a firefighter instead, which is, I think, is of course the better one. And then, so kind of piggyback on that one. We actually right now, we're about to graduate our sparkling members, so it's kind of like what the police officers have done, but it's for females to get them more into the fire service. So we had 17 females this year, young teenagers, with the potential. I know, one of our fine sparkling numbers last year tried out for our, department. Fortunately, she couldn't do it this year, so she's gonna advise her to keep coming back. So it is a good program, and just like the Future Guardian program. So I look forward to both programs staying and helping out. 'Cause like I said, going with the Future Guardians, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I appreciate it. But also like Chief Price says, we do have a lot of events going on. We've already had a couple of calls with people not hydrating, so please stay hydrated. That's gonna be a big thing, especially once Waterfest comes into play and the other events downtown. We just ask you guys to stay hydrated. And finally, I'm gonna piggyback also on the hurricane stuff. Just because if we do have a hurricane, for instance, last year was in September, please, the burn ordinance still applies. You cannot burn even if it's a hurricane. So that it's still October or November and December. Any questions for the fire department?
Your next burn day.
So our next burn day won't be until the first week in November. Yeah, so we had, it's always the first full week in November and December, and then April or March and April, always the first full. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for the city that I might or might not be able to answer, but I can find out the answer? All right, well, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you taking the time. I know, it cost time to be here, so we appreciate you coming and we hope you'll get all this information back to your neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Stay cool.
Yeah.